Welcome everybody to Project You, Project Me, the FTG guide to self-belief and self-coaching. Why not come along and listen to people like you, people like me, leaving legacies for your future. So, welcome to the FTG, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see a kind of a face from the past, somebody with a nice big beaming smile and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you're very welcome here as you always have been, and it's great to see you
Thank
again. But
you.
um, all those folk at home or everybody that's watching is going to be kind of listening and thinking, oh, what's this one all about today? And this one's slightly different, and all that's going to come out because it's not just somebody who's just transitioning, it's somebody who has transitioned, it's somebody who's become a military spouse, if you like, which is kind of a big thing out there. And then you've found your future in many ways, and it's really nice to see that smile and really nice to see you living the best of life. But tell me a little bit about you so everybody can find out a little bit more about you, how long you served and what you were in, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay. So I was in the RAF for it was just over 13 years. I did leave a long time ago, which I joined in 2002 and I actually left in 2015. So I that was the thing with me that I was having my two children, and it was basically that hard decision, which I think a lot of parents in the military go through, trying to decide whether to leave, look after them. It's all that sort of thing, which I'll go into a bit more. But um, that was basically me back then. I am still married and have my two children, and I'm in Shropshire at the minute because my husband is still serving in the RAF.
Ah, right. Okay, fantastic. I'm still married. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd get that in there just in case.
Just in case he watches. Just in case he watches. So, moving on a little bit from that, I'm saying you're saying you left a long time ago. Actually, 2015 is not that
I
long.
was gonna, yeah. Do you know what? When I said it, I thought actually there's going to be people that left a lot like further away than that.
I know there's people left when the dinosaurs were around and things like that. But so what are you doing now? What's the kind of last year been like? And I guess what's the last few months been like, really?
Yeah, so when I was in the Air Force, I joined as a flight operations assistant, and then I retrained to be an air traffic controller, and I absolutely loved that job to pieces. But as I said before, having children, it you kind of have to reflect on what the priority is at that time. My husband goes away a lot. I would have been going away a lot. Do we both want to be doing that? I
Mm,
know some people stay in the military and cope very well with that, but it's one of those things that at the time it was a right, what do I do? Anyway, I did leave and had my two children. I When I went into like deciding to leave, I went through the resettlement process. I was looking at jobs to do to work around the children, things like that. And I wanted to set up my own catering business,
mm,
which I did do, and it was successful for a couple of years until the we had to move because of the military. So I
yeah.
decided to close it all. Anyway, the point is actually it was quite I did feel quite lost because I absolutely miss aviation. I didn't miss the military so much because I felt like I was kind of still in it,
Mm,
but I really missed the aviation. That was actually what interested me the most. So I think focusing on the children, you can become a bit lost in what you want to do. I'd also left a little while ago, so I thought, oh, what on earth am I going to do with my life, and I've still got to get the kids to school and things like that. So yeah, for me, I basically contacted you, John, when I noticed you on LinkedIn. But I ended up getting a job with a company as a PA to a CEO, which I had never done in my entire life.
yeah.
I'm sure we'll go into that a bit more, but I did that. Absolutely loved it. Amazing company, great job. But I did then get a call from an ex-colleague a couple of months later who said, will you come and work for me, please? And it was for a company that are in aviation. I will give them a plug because they are amazing and doing amazing things for the NHS. And they're a company called Apian. So I am now working for them, and I've been doing it for a month, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and clearly they've seen your confidence. I've got no doubt they know a little bit about you, or knew a little bit about you. That's why they came and headhunted you. But your confidence is really, really, is fantastic, and it's really nice to see.
Thank you.
So you kind of spoke a little bit about your transition and how that was and things like that. No, the dreaded military spouse question in transition or just after you've left and things like that. How did you feel about that? What was that like?
It was, it is quite, because you are, when, as you know, in the military, you are a family. You kind
Mm,
of are, you all stick together. You have this whole way of life that is completely different. So then
mm,
leaving, having your children and being a military spouse, my husband still had his amazing military career. He's done,
yeah,
he has done really, really well. Seeing him actually having his job, doing his thing, being able to do that, it can become, and this is from both sides, mums and dads. This is not just, it. I think it can become quite. You feel a little bit jealous. You
yeah.
feel a
Oh,
little bit like you're not in that space anymore,
mm,
and you want to be doing it. But that is the choice that I made
mhm,
to leave to have my children. So
mm,
it's I think that side of it can be quite difficult, but it's they've grown up so quickly that actually that time just
mm,
disappeared, and suddenly I felt completely comfortable to go out because I actually do love working, and I think that is just my personality.
mm.
Not everyone will be like that, but my personality is I love to work, and I think that was what I struggled with on that side of things.
Yeah. I mean, I speak to lots of military spouses, ones that have been in the military and come out, and ones who've never been in the military. And the majority of them all just want to get into work. Um,
Yeah,
and come with unbelievable skill levels,
yeah,
and lots of history and past and all these kind of things. And a lot of people, we've done stuff with the V word and stuff like that, and it's like this hidden treasure, this value that nobody quite gets. But did you
yeah.
feel a little bit labeled with that as you were leaving or when you've left?
I don't know if maybe that is more for the women or the spouses that are not military. I think because I was military, it's a little bit different. But
Okay.
I think if especially if you are a military spouse and you're moving around with your other half to all
Mm,
these different places,
mm,
that is a real struggle to settle into jobs and to focus on what you want to do,
mm,
because you're constantly thinking, oh, hang on, when am I moving house again?
mm.
And I think that's the difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's gone through that, moving jobs, once the children were in school and things like that. She did actually form a really good career, probably halfway through my service, and then, that's kept her sane, I suppose,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
in a great career since. Ultimately, it was kind of part of the reason I left the military as well, because she got to a high position.
Yeah,
And then it was unfair of me to then say, right, give that up and keep moving. I
yeah,
suppose it was a bit
exactly.
like the pyramid in the military. You get so far up your career, and the jobs are getting smaller at the top, so moving was a lot more difficult.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really interesting to hear what you're saying, and very important as well. But just kind of going back to something you mentioned before about when we first met and all that kind of stuff, when you looked on LinkedIn and social media and found us and things, how did that help? Were you wary of the FTG, or was it something you seen was something easy to come to? I don't know. I've never really asked that question, really.
I no, I wasn't wary at all. And do you know what? It for me it was quite nerve-wracking because I don't know if you remember I sent you a message saying I left quite a while ago. Can I come to this job fair? Because I actually don't know what I want to do. I don't know what's out there. Um, can I join? And you were obviously like, oh my God, don't be silly. This is ridiculous. You can, of course, you can join. It's for anyone at any stage of leaving the military. So
Mm,
that was really reassuring and actually made me feel, because I was joining these virtual job fairs, not knowing what on earth I was doing,
Yeah.
but it was just a starting block for me. And that was the point. I was getting out there to network and see what was available. And that is how it helped me. And also we had the CV chat as well. So that again, my CV, I sent it to you. I don't know if you remember. Red penned, I'd say quite a lot of it. Wasn't selling myself enough. It was, I mean, it was not the best CV, but the help that you gave me with that, it was just incredible. And I actually never had that when I left the military before. I never had that. Even in my resettlement, they did like your one resettlement course and basically went through all these different options. It was just one course, really, a couple of hours. There was at no point a proper sit down, let's look at your CV, that personal one to one,
Yeah.
let's look at your CV. There was never that. And I think that actually helped me massively. It made me feel more confident about my CV.
Yeah, we a lot of people comment on that. It's kind of we've gone back in time. I think
Yeah,
these days a lot of stuff is done via video, so it saves everybody time because everyone can watch it and it can be done en masse. Um, but the way that I see the FTG is it's got to be personal. Um,
yeah,
because the minute you invest some time into somebody like yourself or another service leaver or a veteran or whatever comes up, because we're doing blue light now, as soon as you start investing in people, they invest their time in you as well. They gain the
exactly.
trust, and
Yeah,
once people start to get that little bit of trust of what you're saying, actually, this could really help me, then people move forward. And we do get a lot of credit actually, for helping get jobs, and you changed this and you did this. Actually, it's about the
yeah.
individual gaining confidence, and it just might take that 60-minute session, that personal session, and that's what's special to people. And then to start moving forward. And I think that's some of the stuff that you're describing there, and we just want
That's exactly
people
it.
to do that.
Yeah, and that's it. And it just had the minute I had that CV, and I just felt like I had something there to help me. And yeah, again, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it was helpful and it made me feel better about the whole situation.
Mm,
Um, and that's the point. And then I went to a couple of job fairs with you, and the one I came to one of them, and basically in it you said, Rebecca, are you here? I think I might have found you a job. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was how it started. And it
yeah.
was, so, and that was purely, I'd already met you, obviously, but it was your contacts. You had other contacts, you'd been networking, you knew
Mm,
people, and it was that basically got me the job.
yeah. No, it's fantastic, and of course you're moving on now, and we say the average job in Civvy Street's about 3 to 5 years. Yours was about 6 months to a year or something, wasn't it?
I know, yeah. I think it was how long? 5 months, I think I'd been there. So yeah, I was still in my probation period, which is it was honestly awful having to have my notice in at that short stage, but it was what I had to do. So I had to think of myself at the
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
But I can't, everything I did for that previous company was amazing.
Mm,
It was good for me to do it, good to get back out there, but I am now in a job that, I love even more.
yeah.
So,
And the feedback we got was unreal. It
oh,
really
that's nice to know.
give me confidence that, the what we were saying was right. All these great people. And Rebecca can come into your company and she'll be fantastic. She may not have done this before, but I guarantee you in a month or so, she'll be brilliant at what she did. And they came back on your 3-month appraisal, I think, and said, where did you get this person from? Give me some
Oh,
more.
that's
So,
that's
I
amazing.
think I remember
That's
sending
really
you a
nice
little
to
text.
hear.
Yeah. But
Oh, that's really nice to hear.
what you actually found was a bit of self-belief, because
Yeah,
clearly you are great at what you do, but many people like me, like yourself, just lack that little bit of self-belief when you leave. So we formed, and you didn't have this, but clearly you've had it since because I've passed it on to you. We formed a self-coaching guide, giving people that self-belief, and it's called Project You, Project Me. And I passed it to you last week just for you to have a little look at. just so you could kind of go through that and say, do you know what, this would or would not have helped me moving forward. And what did you think about that?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing actually. The content is actually incredible. So there are so many different things in there that actually will help anybody. So for example, there's I think some of you can analyze your personality quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I think people don't do that enough when they leave. And actually working out what you're like from this, this booklet is, I think, will help. There the brainstorming that you can do. There's obviously lots of personal development. Goal setting is
Mm.
always, I think, a massive, massive thing. But actually, the booklet has got so much information in it, but every single bit of it is helpful. And I think it would just, if people have that and can just sit and work their way through it, and there's no rush to work their way through it, just sit, do the odd exercises, maybe one a day, something like that. I just think that would massively help.
Mm. What about if we brought that in through service? Would that be something that people would get something from, do you think?
Definitely. Definitely. And I think, I mean, I can't speak for people that are leaving right now and going through resettlement right now,
Mhm.
but when I was leaving, there was no there was none of this prep, this this prep that you can do. I mean, that book would have been incredible for me back then, to actually, and even to give myself an idea of what direction to take, how to go about it.
Big
And I think
question.
actually people now really struggle with the direction. And if they can work through some of those exercises, I just think it's great. And yeah, it would have been very, very helpful, I think. And I think it will be, and it will be now very, very helpful for service personnel.
Yeah, direction's the number one question to get, because once you get that, you move forward very, very quickly.
Yeah,
The piece that I like is where you work out your likes and your dislikes, because like me, military people leave for a reason. A
yeah,
lot of them for family. Some have to go because of time served. Some have to go because they're medically discharged. All those kind of different things. But many people move into a dislike. So they're leaving for a reason and then they go and do the same job. They
yeah,
might be, married on a company,
exactly.
and then they go and get a job where they're on the road all week. Well, that's not why you've left. So
Exactly. And I see that happening so much.
yeah, me too. And it's what I ended up doing for a couple of years as well. And it's why it made me unhappy. But
Yeah.
this has been a brilliant interview, and we've got to keep it to the time scales, or so no one will ever watch it, because no one wants to listen to the drony old northerner like me talking. It's a good job that you're doing most of the speaking today. But we always finish with the three golden nuggets to success. And if you had these three golden nuggets to give to somebody, what would it be in transition?
Okay, I think the first one would be use the resources around you. So don't be scared to reach out to anyone.
Mhm.
So actually now I think the resources that are available to people are absolutely incredible. Don't ever feel like you can't speak to anybody. Reach out, speak to everyone to help them give you some direction as well. Um, when I was in the second one, when I was in the military, a lot of people would say, "Oh, the grass isn't always greener on the other side." When, if you're choosing to leave because you're a bit fed up of the military or something like that, and you think, "Oh, I just want to leave," and people used to say, "It won't get better." And I completely disagree with that. And I think people need to realize that actually I adored my military career. The military is great. I loved everything that I did. um, it set me up to be the person I am today. But leaving is not bad. There are things out there that will actually be just as amazing, if not better. There are good things out there. So don't listen to all those people that are like military through and through. Oh, you'll never find anything. There are other things out there. And I think the last thing is that it can be daunting leaving, thinking you can't change roles, that say you're an engineer, or I don't know, admin, or a dental nurse, or you don't have to leave and do those roles. You can. And I am a perfect example that yes, I know I'm back in aviation now, but I did a job I've never done before. And people, you can do that. So don't be daunted. Don't think you're not going to find anything. Don't give up.
Mm,
There'll be something out there.
wow. Wow. I mean, those three of them, I speak a lot every day about lots of different things, but some of these are fantastic and absolutely are nuggets. Resource, reach out. That's what we don't do. We absolutely don't do that. We believe that many people think or lie to themselves.
Yeah.
I certainly lied to myself. I'm going to be all right. I've got a job. I just tell everybody I have. I didn't reach out to anybody, so I struggled. The grass is greener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leaving can be amazing. Be excited. Be nervous, of course. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with it being a bit
exactly.
nervous, and it keeps you on your toes. You don't walk into the FA Cup final and just walk on the pitch, score a hat trick, and you're not nervous. You're nervous
Exactly.
whatever you do in
Yeah,
life, so it's a good thing. But be excited and accept that you can change. That's a big one, because the amount of people that believe that they're going to have to go into what they've just done when they're leaving because they don't like it is unbelievable. The other
exactly.
thing is, don't let people push you into those areas as well. Just because you were a
Exactly.
driver in the RLC
Yeah,
doesn't mean you've got to be a driver when you leave as well.
exactly.
So this has been absolutely fantastic, podcast number 5. And, all I can kind of say is keep that confidence that you've got. You're
Thank you.
absolutely glowing. It's brilliant to see. And I know there's a million people following you, and you're going to leave a legacy for those by doing this podcast. And I'm sure you will have lots of advice, and you will give lots of time to people in the future. But thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming back.
Thank you, John. And thank you again for all of your help because it has been absolutely amazing. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks, Rebecca. And on that note, we will leave it there. So good luck for the future, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe. Bye-bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Project You, Project Me. Thanks for listening in. But remember, we have a Project You, Project Me guide to self-coaching, to self-belief, and it can all be downloaded on our website. We also do the 5 fundamentals: CVs, professional writing. We do brand, we do CPD, making sure you're going in the right direction. We're also looking at your elevation, giving you 2 times the chance to set up your interviews before your first actual interview. And also we look at your financial plan, massively important for your future, for you and your family. So why not come along? Have a look. What you got to lose? It's all free. Stay safe.